All right, so the first game of this upcoming season is on a Thursday night, and guess who's playing? Sam, woo,
Who?
woo, Dallas Cowboys versus Tampa Bay. I'm gonna let you jump in on this, Sam, because I don't want you to have a stress heart attack by having to wait your turn.
Hey, you know what? You know what? I'm for this first subject. I always talk about the Dallas Cowboys first. I'm going to hand it to Tommy first because I'm gonna wait for him and then I'm gonna say my piece.
You're gonna jump in
Go
and
ahead,
sick on him.
Tommy. Go ahead, Tommy.
Well, let's run the basics right now. So right now it looks well, we nothing's in concrete, right? But right now all signs are pointing to Dak Prescott being able to play, come game one, being ready. He's on the field, he's throwing. Obviously they're going to evaluate and all that, but everything right now points to go, go, go. So I mean that's definitely a positive for the Cowboys because I would say if they were like, well, Dak's not going to be ready till mid-season, I think everybody'd be like, well, it should be an exciting game. It's been a couple months, so it'll be fun. We'll watch it. We'll have a good time. Yeah, I don't think the Cowboys doing much in this one at any rate. You're going to go in there with a team that they're coming off of their Super Bowl victory with Tom Brady. By the way, that guy, right? That Tom Brady guy who he did the magical thing last year, right? That whole thing with a
Wait,
complete
who?
team.
Never heard of
Yeah,
him.
yeah. But you're coming back with the whole team, pretty much the entire team, damn near the entire team you won the Super Bowl with. Oh yeah, you guys are coming back. We worked it out like we all want to do this again, so we're going to make a return trip. So it seems to be nice. We like this. We're going to continue doing it. The Cowboys had some sad, between injuries and retirements, they've had folks that to come in and they got new players in there where it's like there's no way. I mean, the Cowboys are not going to be that gelled team because it's going to be the first game of the season. If Dak's playing, it'll be his first game back since he hurt his ankle. And even then, before he hurt his ankle, they were still in the process of I guess you could say forming or norming, right? They're in that they weren't at the end of the process; they were in the beginning, or beginning middle. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, like I said, all things being equal, I'd expect to see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers kind of take this one over and not have an easy time winning. I just expect the Cowboys defense is not going to be able to keep up with Tampa Bay's offense, which is going to turn the Cowboys offense one dimensional, and then everything goes all bad from that moment. There's just not much you can do. So it is what it is. First game of the season. They usually, take number one and put them against number 32.
I was gonna say it's
So
got to happen
that's
to
what we're gonna
somebody,
get.
but
First
it
and
sucks
last, baby.
to come out and be 0-1 off the get.
No, it's good. Well, think about it this way. Here's the positive. It's Thursday night. You get to go out there. You get to do everything that you need to do. If you win, great. If you don't, you got a week and a half to go back and look and say and have more data that says this is where we struggle and this is where we're really good. And to start essentially getting to know your team so that, like what we just talked about with Aaron Rodgers, so that if you're in the fourth quarter and you're trying to decide, do I kick the field goal or do I go for it? You know your team well enough to make that decision, based on knowledge, not just, numbers.
I would think too, there's probably not a lot of pressure coming out with your quarterback who's recently been injured and then playing the Super Bowl champions with also Tom Brady. Like it's like no one expects you to win it. If you do, amazing, right? But no one expects it, and so you can use this as not just practice, right? You still want to try to win, but it's not like you're the number 5 against the number 4 or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sam expects them to win.
Well, are you done? Are you done? Are you done?
Chomping at the bit. Go ahead.
All right. So when I looked at this game, when they announced it,
Sam's like, hold on, let me get my editorial out so I can read it to you.
When I looked at this game, I
gotta fix the teleprompt.
Tampa Bay. I was just like Cowboys in Tampa Bay. I was just like, okay. well, they're gonna throw the champions on us to handle first. So, I had to do some meditating, look at it, look all the numbers and everything else like that.
Wave some sage around the house.
And then I have to, I have to look at the defense. I have to look at the defense of the Buccaneers, in the Super Bowl chair, and I have to analyze it and say, okay, yeah, they were ranked. They were a top 10 defense because they were ranked 6. So that's good. But also, everybody was talking to me that, they did such a good job against Patrick Mahomes and, they stopped him and everything else. And then I just looked at it. So wait a minute. Wasn't Kansas City Chiefs offensive line compromised? Like 4 out of the 5 starters were not playing. So, and basically the way they handled the Kansas City Chiefs, they basically did what they did in the Super Bowl, but Kansas City Chiefs offensive line was compromised. And then I looked at it and just looked at my offensive line with Lyle Collins, Zach Martin, Tyron Smith, and all the other 2 on there. And I was just like, wait a minute. So I do have I have 3 Pro Bowlers. I have 3 Pro Bowlers on my offensive line. So that defense is not going to get to Dak Prescott so quickly because I got all pros on my offensive line. So he's going to have about a few seconds to be able to get that ball out of his hand. And then I look at it that my defensive coordinator versus from the first quarter to the third quarter, he's actually good against Tom Brady. He's actually the top defensive coach against Tom Brady. Now, the fourth quarter is something else.
Okay, I was thinking, wait.
The fourth quarter.
Wait, Stan. See, that's unfair. That is unfair. No, it is unfair. Because you said the reason why you couldn't go with Matt Stafford was because his record against winning teams was 8-62. But the exact stat is his record against teams that finished the season with a winning record.
Okay.
So if we're going to talk about finish, if we're talking about finish, that fourth quarter is very, very important.
That's the reason why I preference it said between the first and the third quarter. I didn't say the other game. I just said the first and the third quarter.
Sam, that your offensive line, they were great, right?
They are good. But let me finish. I'm finishing my point. So
hey, what happened to their quarterback last year? I forgot.
He got injured and the offensive line was compromised. But okay, if I go into looking at Dan Quinn versus Tom Brady from the first to the third quarter, he actually does a good job. He actually forces Tom Brady to make mistakes by adding pressure to getting pressure to him. Now, when the fourth quarter comes, Tom Brady, I'll give it to him. He's the man. He beat Dan Quinn.
Just because he's messing with them in 1 through 3. He could easily win, but he wants it to be fun through all 4 quarters. If you're like 60-0 in the first quarter, the whole rest of the game kind of sucks.
Well, actually, we can't blame Dan Quinn on the Seahawks Super Bowl. We need to blame Pete Carroll because that was the dumbest thing for you not to give the ball to beast mode so that he could be able to score the touchdown. You're gonna throw the ball, but that's another subject on another day. But do I think my Cowboys have a chance to beat the Buccaneers? Yes, I do. The reason why is because
any given Sunday, any team can beat any other team.
Great.
There's always a chance.
But my Cowboys will beat the Buccaneers. From the first
yes, you're right.
season.
They will beat the Buccaneers out of the tunnel and back onto the bus after they get their asses handed to them.
Upset, and they're gonna pull the upset, and then all
Yes,
all I
they
want to
will
hear
be
is say,
upset.
"Sam, you're right." All I want to hear you say is, "Sam, you were right.
Jones
You
will
were
be
right."
upset. I paid him all that money, and we started off with an L.
My quarterback came out and said, "This is just not a game. This game is just not a game. It's just not a game for us. We need to come out and start off right."
So here's the problem, though. They're going to go play a football game. If your quarterback is saying it's not a game, I'm really concerned about what it is they'll be playing, because if they go out there with like the iron
This is
chef
not
ready to
just a
cook an
game.
amazing meal, this is not
He
going
said,
well.
"This is not just a game."
That's why
This is
the
just not a
ankle
game.
injury is so important, because you're putting a lot of pressure on it as you're jumping up and down.
This is
Well,
just
and
not a game.
keep in mind this one. We haven't seen Dak Prescott back.
I always think about what
There,
is
there
that?
have
There's a
been
baseball movie.
report.
No,
The guy gets
there have
injured
been
and
numerous.
he's a coach. He gets injured, and after his injury, he can throw like 100 miles an hour or whatever. I always think about that when
It was a
injuries
kid.
happen.
That wasn't even a coach. It was just a kid.
No.
But
It was. Wait, was it a kid? Oh yeah, he had a cast. Okay, yeah.
Angels in the outfield.
Yes, thank you.
So we take that, and we've seen plenty of other quarterbacks have similar injuries, and they come back, not the same, a little gun shy. Not to say that is a definite, right? But we don't know.
Valid point.
We just don't
coach,
know.
My coach has already came out and said that Dak is on progress to come into training camp without any injuries or anything like that. So I feel confident that my head coach has said that. I feel confident in my defensive coach because he's focusing on defense now.
Really? Defensive coach focusing on defense. That's a good one. I mean, they should really take it. That's a good idea. I think other people should look at that.
I was saying because he's been a head coach for 6 years, so he's just focusing on defense. He doesn't have to worry about anything else as a head coach as he did for 6 years. So that I feel confident in. And let's go. Let's talk about the Dan Quinn versus Tom Brady when he was on the Seahawks. Did you know in the first 3 quarters that Tom Brady went 23 out of 34, which is 67%. He had 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Cliff Avery got hurt in that game when they were pressuring Tom Brady in the 4th quarter. So I imagine that's the reason why Tom Brady was able to get so many passes off in the 4th quarter. But it still doesn't negate the fact that Pete Carroll made the dumbest decision not to give it to beast mode to be able to run into the touchdown for the Super Bowl. But whatever. But when it comes to my Dallas Cowboys and the Buccaneers, I think Dallas is going to make a statement. Now it's too early to say now because I haven't.
It'll be a statement.
In preseason. It's too early to say anything now because we haven't seen them in preseason or anything else. I haven't got an idea of what it's going to look like. But I will say this: I feel that my Cowboys are going to beat the Bucs, and then take Tom Brady down. They're going to have at least 4 sacks. 4 sacks on Tom Brady because of the simple reason that Tom Brady came out and said Cowboys shouldn't be America's team. That really upset my defense.
All right, here's my suggestion. You're right. We haven't seen the preseason, and we don't really have. I mean, not that the preseason is a good indication of the actual season, but it does give you an opportunity to see how Dak is playing. So I'm going to recommend that we actually revisit this subject closer to the game and see what we're all feeling once we get a chance to see him on the field with an opponent team.
That'd be nice because Sam, there's the problem with your logic there is your defense isn't even close to being the Legion of Boom. It's not even a shadow of it. And it's like, yeah, Dan Quinn had a lot to work with. Right now, he doesn't. He's got to build that.
Yep, exactly. All right. Well, with that
We'll
said,
see.
I want to close out for the evening and say thank you to everyone who has joined us today. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button.
Most definitely.